You know, sometimes the biggest, most world-changing tragedies, they start with the smallest moments. A simple argument between kids by a river, a flash of anger, a single, solitary lie. Today we're going to dive deep into one of those moments, a real pressure cooker of a scene where a squabble spirals out of control, loyalties are put to the ultimate test, and the consequences, well, they become brutally, horribly real. So let's break it down and see exactly how it all went so wrong.
We have a wolf. Just 4 little words, spoken so quietly by Queen Cersei Lannister. They sound pretty simple, right? But believe me, those 4 words are the chilling pivot point for this entire story. They carry the weight of a death sentence.
All right, so the scene kicks off with this huge sense of relief that just instantly sours into dread. After 4 agonizing days of searching, Ned Stark's young daughter Arya has finally been found. But instead of a happy reunion with her father, she's marched directly in front of the king.
Now you gotta understand, this isn't happening in some neutral space. The whole royal party is crammed into this little castle owned by Sir Raymond Derry, a guy whose family literally fought and died against King Robert. The air in this place is just thick with old hatreds and brand new tensions. It's a tinderbox.
And if you look at the numbers, well, the Starks are losing. Big time. The factions in this room tell you everything you need to know. You've got Stark men, Lannister men, King's men, even Derry's men. Ned and his daughters are completely surrounded, vastly outnumbered by people who are, let's be honest, their enemies. They are well and truly in the lion's den.
So it all falls on King Robert. He has to play judge and figure out what in the world really happened out there by the river between his son, Prince Joffrey, and Ned's daughter, Arya.
So on one side, you have Arya's story, which sounds pretty plausible. Joffrey was being a bully to her friend, the butcher's boy Micah, so her direwolf, Nymeria, jumped in to defend her. Then she chucked his sword in the river. And then you have Joffrey's version. He claims he was ambushed by these 2 tiny kids who beat him with clubs. Yeah, the contrast is pretty wild.
And look, it's not just us thinking Joffrey's story sounds completely ridiculous. The king's own brother, Lord Renly, can't stop himself from openly mocking the prince right there in front of everyone. His sarcasm just hangs in the air, a pretty clear sign of who's actually telling the truth here.
So with 2 completely different stories on the table, and the king clearly wanting to be anywhere else, it all comes down to one person, the only other witness, Arya's older sister, Sansa.
I mean, this is it. This is the moment everything is riding on. Sansa is betrothed to Prince Joffrey. She dreams of being his queen, but Arya is her sister, her blood. All she has to do is tell the truth. So what's she gonna do? And there it is, the lie that seals everyone's fate. Sansa, desperate to please her prince and just make all the conflict go away, claims she can't remember what happened. And in that one moment of silence, she makes her choice. She picks her future crown over her own family.
And the betrayal is so immediate, so raw, that Arya just explodes. She physically lunges at her sister, screaming, "Liar, liar, liar." That bond between them, it's shattered. Maybe forever.
You see, Sansa's lie created a power vacuum in the room, a little opening. And who do you think was waiting to step right into it? Queen Cersei. She smells blood in the water, Stark blood, and she is not going to be denied.
King Robert, for his part, is just completely over it. He's had enough. He basically rules that it was a kid's fight, no lasting harm done, and says their parents can sort them out. For just a split second, it really seems like the crisis is over. But he has seriously underestimated his wife. And right here, this is a masterclass in manipulation. You have to watch how she works. Cersei is relentless. She's told Arya's wolf, Nymeria, ran off. Does she back down? No. She offers a huge bounty for its skin. Then she starts taunting Robert, poking at his pride. And once she has him cornered and angry, she delivers the final devastating blow. We have a wolf.
And here's the horrifying twist. She isn't talking about Nymeria, the wolf who actually bit the prince. Nope. She's talking about Sansa's direwolf, Lady, the one who was miles away when the whole thing happened. A completely innocent creature is about to pay the price for all of it.
And the room just erupts into chaos. Sansa finally understands the terrible cost of her lie, and she's begging for Lady's life. Arya is screaming the truth, trying to take the blame herself. And Ned Stark, well, he plays his last card, his final, desperate appeal to his oldest friend, the king.
But it's no use. The king is broken. He turns away. the sentence is going to be carried out. And in a final, gut-wrenching decision, Ned Stark declares he will do it himself. And you have to understand, this isn't an act of cruelty. It's an act of grim mercy, making sure the creature he loves dies by a familiar hand, not by the king's monstrous butcher.
So now we get to the butcher's bill, so to speak, and it's tallied not just in blood, but in broken trust and innocence that can never be reclaimed. The full cost of this day is far from settled. But even in this moment of total defeat, Ned makes one last quiet act of defiance. He orders the direwolf's body to be sent all the way back north for a proper burial at Winterfell. He refuses to let Cersei have her trophy. It's a small, cold comfort on a day full of losses. And just when you think the tragedy is finally complete, the last piece of the horror clicks into place. The King's man, Sandor Clegane, the Hound, he returns from his hunt. He didn't find Arya's wolf, no. He found the butcher's boy, Micah, the other kid who was at the river. His chilling report, he ran, but not very fast, reveals the poor boy's fate. He was hunted down and killed.
So let's just look at the final tally here. This all came from one lie, told out of fear and childish ambition, and because of it, an innocent animal is dead. A young boy has been murdered for the crime of playing with a princess, and the bond between two sisters is poisoned, maybe forever.
And this whole thing leaves us with a really heavy question, doesn't it? In a world where the queen's thirst for revenge matters more than the king's judgment or even the plain and simple truth, what even is the definition of justice? It really makes you wonder, what is the true price of a lie, and who is it that ultimately has